time to crack open the sports page with the Orlando Sentinel and FM 96.9 The Game's Mike the Bulldog Bianchi.
On JRR.
All right, get the Bulldog with us, ready to talk some football, college and pro. Should be an interesting weekend, Mike the Bulldog Bianchi.
Yeah, started out last night with a great game on Thursday Night Football. The Seahawks looked like they were going to upset the Cowboys, but the Cowboys came storming back. Dak Prescott, man, he has been putting up some numbers this year. He had 3 touchdown passes last night. Cowboys end up winning that game. 14th consecutive home victory for the Cowboys, 41-35. My man Geno Smith, my fantasy QB last night, he threw 3 touchdown passes as well, but they ended up losing the game. But good performance by the Seahawks. They've lost 3 in a row now, so not good for the Seahawks. You want to start with NFL since we're talking about NFL right now?
Sure, why not?
All right, big games this weekend in the National Football League. The Jaguars, by the way, don't play until Monday night. They'll play the Bengals. They should win that game easily. Miami plays the Washington Commanders. That should be a breeze for the Dolphins, although it is in Washington. Dolphins are favored by 9.5 points in that game. Obviously, the Commanders aren't having the season they wanted to have, although Sam Howell, their rookie quarterback, he's putting up some numbers as well. But Dolphins should win that game.
Do you know what the weather is? Do you know what the weather is up there for that? Is it supposed to be cold or?
I have no idea.
Nah, okay.
No idea. Carolina
Don't you have your
Tampa.
Special phone there that tells you all that?
Not up there.
You have a phone that could tell you that.
Special thing he has. Anyway.
Who would have ever thought a game against the pathetic Carolina Panthers would be a must-win for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but it is this weekend. The Buccaneers are 4-7. They've lost 6 of their last 7, although they're still only 1 game behind in that bad division that they're in. But yeah, they need to beat the Carolina Panthers this weekend. They're favored by 5.5. Should be a victory for the Bucs, but who knows the way they've been playing. Other big games in the NFL this weekend. The big one is San Francisco at Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
That's a huge game. Philadelphia is actually an underdog at home, even though they have the best record in the league. So we'll see what happens in that game. Denver at Houston, that suddenly turned into a good game. Denver is red hot. They have a 5-game winning streak. Houston still in the competition in their division. They're behind the Jaguars, who they lost to last week. By the way, Lynch, your meatheads better watch out this weekend. They have the Saints on the road. They lost on Thanksgiving. I think the Saints might have a chance to beat the meatheads. So we'll see what happens. College football, though, that is what I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Do you have a feeling that fans in the Seattle area are going to be disappointed 2 nights in a row?
Could be, because tonight is the Pac-12, the final Pac-12 championship game. Yeah, that's going to be... That might be the best game of the bunch. Washington and Oregon. Oregon actually favored in that game, even though Washington beat them earlier in the season by 3 points. Oregon's favored by 9.5. Whoever wins the game, obviously, is probably going to get into the college football playoff. So that's going to be a great game.
You know what I would have loved to have seen with that? I know they're playing it in Vegas in perfect conditions. Those 2 teams playing miserable weather all season long. Wouldn't it have been perfect if the championship game was rain, mist, cold.
If it looked like that Iowa game the other week,
right.
Throw some snow in there like a ton.
Not?
Oh, by the way, speaking of weather, guys, I did check, and Washington on Monday night for Monday Night Football, as it stands now.
This is we're talking about for the Dolphins, right?
Yeah.
That they play on Sunday afternoon at 1:00.
Oh God, it's gonna be a wet one, boys. We got a high of 58. And 75% chance of rain.
Thank you for that weather report.
Yes, no problem.
All right, the other championship games this weekend, Dog. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, well, Michigan should kill Iowa. We won't even talk about that one. Obviously, a lot of eyes on the SEC championship game in Atlanta Saturday, Georgia versus Alabama. There's talk that if Alabama wins that game, the SEC could be left out of the college football playoff for the first time in history. Georgia's favored by 5.5. Nick Saban was lobbying yesterday saying, hey, if we win, we're one of the top 4 teams in the country. I would argue that, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that game. Obviously, in the state of Florida, we're interested in the Florida State Louisville ACC championship game. That is late, 8 p.m. kickoff on Saturday night. I think all Florida State has to do is win, but there is certainly a narrative out there that they need to be impressive with backup quarterback Tate Rodemaker at the helm. I think Florida State wins this game and gets into the college football playoff. It's going to be interesting. Texas against Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship game. Texas should roll over Oklahoma State. It'll be interesting to see what happens if Alabama wins the SEC championship game. Texas wins the Big 12 championship game. One of those teams is going to get left out of the playoff. Texas beat Alabama head-to-head, huh? I have
the feeling, Bulldog, we're going to have chaos breaking out in these games, and it's going to be Argument City on Monday, and we'll all be going, man, wouldn't it be great if the 12-team playoff was this year?
It would be awesome. In fact, I think that's what they ought to do. I think the playoff committee just should say, you know what, we're going to just make it 12 teams this year.
You're right.
Started early.
That would be great. I know they can't, but that would be awesome.
By the way, the Orlando Magic play the Wizards tonight. Do you realize by the end of the weekend, not saying it's going to happen, but it could happen, the Magic, who've won 8 straight games now, by the end of the weekend, they could have the best record in the NBA and be atop the Eastern Conference standings. How exciting would that be after 20 games? 20 games is a pretty good sample size.
It is.
Be beautiful.
It is. Yeah. Lightning lose last night against Pittsburgh 4-2, the final. They're just not, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Dog, I suspect come Monday, it's going to be, when we say overreaction football Monday, that might be putting it mildly.
It's going to be fun. Cannot wait.
All right.
Wait.
Give us that sound of the grown man barking to take us out of the sports page. Mike Bianchi, everybody.
Oh, oh.
WJRR.